Hi everybody, Sam here. We're going to do an unboxing of the Hisense dehumidifier. This is the 35-pint unit, which covers 3,000 square feet. Recently, we purchased 3 Midea brand dehumidifiers, and one of them went bad. When we took it back, we got our money back, but they didn't have any more in stock. So we went to Lowe's, and they had this one. This one's significantly smaller. So I'm not sure if it actually would cover 3,000 square feet. I found another Hisense dehumidifier that looks exactly like this one and also has a 35-pint capacity. And it said it covered 1,500 square feet, which I find more realistic for its size. But we're using it in our garage. It's only 800 square feet there, so maybe we'll be okay. We paid $219 for the one at Sam's Club. The Midea one was $180. So we spent more for a smaller unit, but as long as it fits our needs, because we're in the middle of summer, I don't think that there was any better options right now. The packaging looks really good. It comes with plastic corner protectors and then this really durable cardboard that is protecting the styrofoam. Everything looks like it's intact. There's a lining and then there's the dehumidifier. One thing that I was surprised by is there is no additional attachments or accessories. Pretty much you have the instruction manual, some promotional items, and the warranty service, which I never read the instruction manual, even though I should. And then you have the dehumidifier, and that's it. Right? With our other dehumidifier, you had to connect some components in the back, and then you had to remove some stuff from the bin in the bottom, and you had to connect a hose into the back as well, which I didn't do correctly, and then it leaked. So this one is just pull it out of the box. There's some tape that is across all the seams of the dehumidifier and plug it in and you're ready to go. It's a lot simpler and I kind of like that. Especially for in the garage, I don't need fancy features or all kinds of attachments and hookups that might fail. All right, let's go over some of the features of the dehumidifier. It is simpler than the other dehumidifier we own. It does not have smart connection. It doesn't have Wi-Fi, so it won't connect to your smart devices. It doesn't have a pump to drain into a sink, which I find somewhat useless in the other unit because you could just use the hose drainage rather than the pump. So it seems kind of redundant to have that feature anyway. The one thing I do miss is that this one in the bin in the bottom does not have an indicator of how full it is. So I was having to pop open the tray to see how much water is in there and how soon before I need to empty the bucket. So that's going to be a little bit tough, but since it automatically turns off when it's full, I guess I could just keep checking on it until it's off and then I know that it's full. All right, the modes on top of the dehumidifier. It has a timer. You select that button, you select how many hours you want it to be on. It will turn off after that amount of time. Then you have a mode button, which has auto dry, continuous, and manual set. Auto dry automatically dehumidifies to a comfortable level and then stops. Continuous just keeps running. It's particularly useful if you have the hose attachment that will go to a drain or to an outside area and it could just be on all the time. And then you have manual set where you can select the level of humidity that you want in your room and it'll turn off once it gets to that level. Personally, that's the one that I prefer, if not auto dry. But for the garage, maybe we would just use continuous. You have a power selector, which is just simply on off. And then you have clean filter. I don't know what this does. The other dehumidifier also has that. Hopefully at some point I figure out what that is for. Then you have your fan. And you have 3 settings there, auto, high, and low. So my guess is that auto will go to high when the humidity is high and then go to low otherwise. But then you can manually select either one. And then you have a indicator that says empty bucket. So when the bin on the bottom is full, that will light up and it's time to empty your dehumidifier. The power cord is relatively short. It's about 4 feet long. So you have to put your dehumidifier pretty close to a wall outlet or use an extension cord if you need to strategically place it in your room. All right, let's go through some of the features here. It's a 35-pint. That looks to me like around a half a gallon or maybe a little bit more, which is not very much. It would be filling up all the time if there's high humidity. My other dehumidifier has almost a gallon and I have to empty it twice a day because of how much humidity there is here in Tennessee. So this one I'm expecting to have to kind of maintain even more. There's the air filter. It's pretty basic. It has a fine mesh. Pops off really easy. You just put it under your sink and rinse it off and then you're ready to go. I would not count on this for filtering out dander, pollen, or things like that out of the air, but it will capture some of the bigger particles. Here's the receptacle. It is pretty easy to pop off, but when it's full of water, you have to be really careful because it could splash around and spill. And again, I wish it had bigger so that it could dehumidify for longer before it needed to be emptied. But it's adequate, so it's not bad. It says it's a compact size for smaller spaces. I think that there's a little bit of funny marketing going on here saying it can cover 3,000 square feet. For its size, I would say that's ambitious. I would pin it more at 1,500 square feet. It says quiet operation, and then it says for a relaxed environment. There's some marketing there as well. Quiet is relative, right? So my guess is that older dehumidifier technology was much louder. And so now they're claiming that it's quiet. But when you don't have a reference point on how loud they used to be, when I plug this in, if it's by my TV, I would have to turn it up a lot to overpower the sound of the dehumidifier. Okay, now I'm attempting to talk while the humidifier is on. Just to give you a reference point, I'm pretty close to the microphone, and the dehumidifier is also pretty close to the unit. I would not call it quiet by any means, but I would presume it's quieter than stuff from a while back. Okay, easy carry handles for portability. My fingertips barely fit in there. The very tips of my fingers barely fit in there. And so I have to put a lot of pressure inward to lift without losing grip. So I would not say it's easy carry. These dehumidifiers are pretty heavy, but it does have carry handles, and then it has little coasters on the bottom. So as long as you're rolling it around in the room, you're in pretty good shape. It is a little tricky to move it around when it's full of water. So you may want to empty the bin before you start moving it around, because there's nothing to stop the water from splashing out inside the unit when you're moving it around. We did look at this specification very carefully. You could run the dehumidifier as cold as 38 degrees Fahrenheit. So that matters because in our basement, there's no insulation, and in the winters, it does get pretty cold. However, I don't think it ever gets colder than 38 degrees. So I think we're going to be fine. I'm curious to see what will happen. Hopefully it has an auto shut off if it gets too cold, but I guess we'll find out this coming winter. They give you a 2-year warranty, which is pretty standard for different companies. In my experience, it's very hard to claim those warranties. You're on the hook for shipping and then shipping the new unit back to you, or the replacement unit. Sometimes they want to send you a refurbished unit, and those have their own separate issues. So I haven't had great experience with claiming warranties, and shipping will be a lot because this unit is very heavy. So hopefully we never have to use that. Okay, that pretty much covers all of the general features of the unit. This unit is simpler than our Midea one. And that's ideal for our garage because we don't have time for fancy features that are going to be failing all the time. I'll give more of a review on my other dehumidifier in another video so that you guys get an idea of the differences and the ups and downs of each one. Overall, this one's going to be plug and play, really simple, and we're looking forward to not having to worry about some of the moisture that collects inside of our garage. If you look at the left middle of the screen, you can see our wood beam there is pretty wet, and there is some seepage, which I need to fix in our garage. And this unit will help keep everything dry